Hello, everyone. We live in a universe with the law of duality, which states that everything must have an opposite. And just like that, emotions have positive emotions and negative emotions. And in the positive side, we have all the emotions that we love to feel: happiness, joy, excitement, love. And then on the negative side are all the emotions we push away and don't want to feel, like fear and hatred and anger and grief. And it is no surprise that it doesn't feel good to feel the negative emotions, and that's why we push them away. However, pushing away anything creates a distance between us and whatever that is that we are pushing away. And in this instant, it's the emotions that we are pushing away. Because from an outside perspective, emotion can be seen as a thought, as another thing that exists here, rather than seeing it from the inside perspective, which is that we are emotions. Whenever you are attached to something, it becomes a part of yourself. It becomes a part of your ego. And ego is nothing but a structure of identification. So when you identify with something, it becomes a part of you and therefore being a part of your ego. It's how you self-identify, how you see the world, and how you want the world to see you. So anytime this happens, we also identify with emotions. So if you feel sad a lot, you cry a lot, then you'll identify with being a crier or someone who's very sensitive. If you're someone who gets angry a lot, shouts a lot, yells a lot, throws things around a lot, then you're going to identify with, with the anger itself. And whenever we identify with something, it becomes very close to us. It becomes like part of us. And anytime something becomes part of us, it feels almost impossible for us to see ourselves without it. That's why it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of deprogramming and a lot of healing in order to change ourselves, because we have identified with something. We've made it to be us. And until we can see ourselves separate from that which we have taken as ourselves, we can't change. We can't become another version of ourselves without that emotion. And so I wanted to show you a way that you can start befriending these emotions that are negative. And it comes from the Buddhist philosophy of being with emotions. So Buddha was really good at explaining and displaying how to be with negative emotions, which is just to be with them. He would say, invite them in for a cup of tea. And that's the principle behind accepting everything that is here in the world, accepting everything that we experience in the world. Because the more we push it away, the more it evokes a suffering within us. And the more we can accept it and be with it, it releases from us. It no longer holds us in a tight knot. And so it is here that you want to start practicing. And maybe you can start with 1 minute a day or 5 minutes a day, where you want to practice sitting with something that is very negative for you. And slowly, slowly, you will be able to be with that which hurts you, and it will no longer feel bad. It only feels bad because we want to get rid of it. We want to heal it. We want it to go away. We don't want it. And anytime you don't want something, its power over you, its presence over you takes over. And guess who's in power? Not you. It's that thing that you're obsessing over. It's got your attention. It's got your thought power. It's got your time. It's got everything, really, because you're not doing something else, maybe something else that brings you joy, brings you happiness, brings you peace, brings you rest. You start paying attention to that which is negative. And so I invite you to start a practice, to start thinking about negative emotions in a way that's inviting. And if this seems very scary and daunting, then try to do it with a friend. That often helps. Doing things alone brings in another layer of fear, another layer of what could happen, another layer of, I don't know if I can handle this, or what if I go out of control. There's this element of losing ourselves. And whenever we are in the presence of someone else, it eases things, it softens things. So try doing it with a friend and seeing how that goes. The emotions that are hardest to sit with are the ones that were suppressed the most, the ones that you fear the most. So within your own family system, the way you were raised in your society, if there's a specific emotion that everyone was like, oh, please don't feel that, then that's the one you're not going to be comfortable with in your own life. Anger is a very easy example here because as a society, no one likes to feel anger, and we don't know how to actually express ourselves in a healthy, angry way. All of anger is seen as violence and yelling and all of the things that make us shut down rather than being able to express anger in a healthy way, which would invite conversations and resolution. And so it is here that if you notice that anger is something that you struggle with, then that's where your work is going to be as well. That is where you're going to have to meet anger over and over and over again within your experience in life in order to make peace with that emotion so that it's no longer riding you. Anger is not bigger than you. It doesn't go out of control in your own life. You can actually hold the power of anger. And I know that sounds really unbelievable for many because anger is essence has the out of control feeling that I fly off the handle or I don't even know it and I'm triggered and I'm yelling. And so you can deprogram yourself from such emotional states. It is possible. And the way to do it is to first address the pain that's underneath the anger. Most people are carrying an emotional body, or we can call it a negative pain body. And it's in that negative pain body where your pain and anger are going to be stored. So the more layers of pain that you feel through, because everything is an experience, it's going to stay in your body until you have experienced it fully. If you do not fully experience something, it stays in order for it to be fully experienced. The moment it is fully experienced, it's gone, it's dissipated. You no longer need to feel it. remember to feel something all the way through. And the way that you know that you have felt something all the way to the end is you're done. You have the feeling of completion that comes up. You arrive at completion. It automatically leads you there. Very similar to a feeling of if you're in the middle of the ocean and you're stuck in some storm, if you just ride that storm and let that storm go through you, you will find yourself at the shoreline at the end of it. But it is a process of letting go of control. If you try to control how you're feeling, you're not actually feeling. You have to really practice, and it'll come with time, letting go of the process of feeling itself. And it's slow in the beginning because you're learning how to do it. But if you do it with a friend or you hire a skilled healer or therapist who knows how to take you through these emotions, it becomes pretty easy and pretty intuitive. And you will know how to sit with negative emotions that you need to experience. And as you sit with them and be with them, they no longer have their hold on you and they no longer control you. And you come into what I call the neutral states. So you have the negative and the positive, and then in the center, we have the neutral states, which are calm and peace and balance and harmony. And any of those states where you're neither, you're not the positive and you're not the negative, or you are the positive and you're the negative and you're both. So you're kind of beyond the duality of things. And this is where most people are craving to be in. They're craving to not be on the roller coaster of high and low, the roller coaster of positive and negative. This can also be applied to physical pain. Anytime you have physical pain in the body, it is basically a manifestation of emotional pain that hasn't been felt through. And so we keep ignoring the emotional pain over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually it becomes physical. And now we have to deal with it because we can't get out of bed because our back hurts, or we can't walk because our foot hurts, or we had an accident, or we fell. And anytime we are met with something in the physical, it first starts in the emotional body. That's the origin of physical pain. Is first it starts in the emotional body, and when we ignore it, suppress it, don't feel it, deny it, minimize it, it then graduates to becoming physical. And this is actually how diseases are formed as well. I'll do another video to explain diseases more in depth and how that actually works. For now, we just want to concentrate on how to feel emotions that we don't want to feel. And another point is about positive emotions. There are some positive emotions that we suppress as well. And it's usually the emotions that, again, your society that you grew up in was not okay with. And there are some religions also that ban you from very heightened positive emotions, such as excitement or um, hy being hyper, like very loud and very happy and very high, big expressions of positive emotions. They are these viewpoints that we must be very almost numb like, or it's almost like instead of it being a true state of calm and peace and tranquility, it's to impose that that's how we feel. But those are actually not calm and tranquil. They're a suppression of our emotional system, which is more in the category of apathy and depression and sadness. It's a cover of our full range of emotions rather than an integration of our full range of emotions, completely different. And just to repeat that, as it might be a little complicated to understand, is that being calm and tranquil and feeling balanced is an integration of the full range of our emotions. So whenever we integrate anger, then we come to feeling calm. And when we integrate grief and sadness, then we come into happiness, and so forth. Now, when we suppress those emotions, when we say you cannot feel them, and we push them down, and in order to cope, we cover that with being almost stoic or monotonous or robotic, you can see now clearly that that's not calm and tranquil. It might be helpful to make a list of all the emotions that you know you are afraid of feeling, and make another list of emotions that you feel pretty good about. You feel pretty good about feeling excited or happy, but are really afraid of crying, maybe, or feeling depressed. And when you understand from a bigger picture, then you can go towards a therapist or a healer to help you through those emotions by understanding them and understanding how they feel in your body. It's a very beautiful experience to witness each of these emotions within our own bodies. It's one thing to witness it in our parents or in our children or our friends or on TV as characters, but it's a very intimate feeling. And this is where we increase the intimacy with our own self when we experience these emotions within our own body, because they will be unique to ourselves. How you feel grief will be different to the way that I do. And how I move through it will be again different to how you move through it. And that's what's so unique and beautiful about the human experience, is that we get to experience all these range of emotions, but through our own bodies. And now that we are at a time that there are many of us that are almost gifted at feeling and teaching others to feel without the fear of it, that you can now be guided through your emotional world in a really beautiful way. So I hope this helps you or excites you to sit with your own emotions and journey through your experience in your own body and become intimate with yourself. I'll see you again soon. Sending you my love.